Hey guys, how's it going? Rubber Kitty here. Well, looks like it's going to be a wet weekend. Probably in more ways than one. But, well, getting into your kink groove. Came across this query about getting into the dom space, or the headspace for being a dom. I said, well, you wanted ideas. Depends. I mean, he said that he got everything planned in his head, but when it comes down to it, then he kind of gets too involved in stuff in his head, and he kind of forgets what to do, what to say, and he plays out the scene. My tip would be you've overplanned it. You've got too much involved in the planning and the fantasy of it that you haven't been able to bring it out in real life. Maybe not do the whole scene, maybe do parts here and there, test things out in everyday life. Or you can actually have I guess it would be a routine or a little ritual for getting into the headspace, something that you do every time. And you won't get it right straight away. I mean, come on, you're new. Go easy on yourself. Yeah, you get confused, but get feedback and dom or sub on how you are, what confused you, what was good about it, what was bad about it. Always end on a good note. Much more healthy for people to end on a good note. I mean, it then makes them think, okay, well, I'll work on these good things, I'll work on the bad things, and these were the good things about it, so how can I make those bad things less and the good things better or more? So concentrate on that. As regards to getting into headspace, I would say apart from that, flirting. A lot of kink is in your head, and it's fun, it's flirtatious, some of it can be deadly serious, but I mean, if it wasn't fun, you wouldn't be doing it. You'd be silly not to do it if you didn't get some enjoyment out of it. So think of it that way. Think of the long flirtatious little texts that you send each other to prep each other, and don't just relax and try not to stress over it too much, which is, I know, easy to say, harder to do. But it's one of those things that practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more you'll be able to adjust, the more you'll be able to read the signs, know what you're about. When you've kind of lost the plot, so to speak, or when you've changed directions too fast or slowed down too much, or things like that. But it's also a thing where it's not only the dom's job to get into the headspace, but it's also the sub's job to provide a good environment and act in a way, present in a way that encourages the dom to get into the headspace. But it also works the other way as well, for the dom to also act, present, and to allow the submissive to be in their submissive space. Not always possible, not always recognised. It can be particularly difficult if you're living at 24/7 and you expect to be in that headspace 24/7. Not possible, because number one, I do it 24/7, and while it's like a relationship, in that even if you're not in each other's physical space, that you're still in a relationship or a dynamic, you will have other things on your mind at any given moment, time, minute, hour of every day, because you've got to do work, or you've concentrating on a task or something. But in the back of your mind, there'll always be that connection, that feeling. It should always be that feeling. And if not, you got to think about why. Is it because you're actually concentrating on a particular task at that point in time? Not necessarily a task to you by your dominant, but also is it because of work, of life? Can't get away from that. So you've got to be practical on these things as well. But with regards to getting into that space, getting into your kink space, for some people, yes, it's a good little ritual. Some people take example, some fetishists that I know, rubber wearers, fellow rubber wearers, they like to spend hours getting into their rubber, getting it perfect, getting it all shiny, because for them it's about the look and the shine. So they wear unchlorinated latex. I like wearing chlorinated latex because for me the best thing about it is not primarily the look, but the feel. It's not the ritual of getting into it. I want to get into my rubber as fast as possible because I like spending time in it and I like the feel of it and I enjoy it on my body. And it's just, it's kind of hard to explain. But I feel more me when I'm wearing rubber. So, anyways, getting into kink space, it will be different for different people. So, asking people what they do to get into kink space is helpful. Asking what you can do to get into kink space, not so much, because you are an individual and you need to figure out what gets you, what helps you. Even if as a dominant you say, okay, well as my sub, it is really helpful to me for you to do this. It helps provide the environment, helps me remember, it helps me signal that, you know, if I've gone quiet and I've not verbalized something, ask the question. Questioning your dom, asking for confirmation, does not mean you're any less submissive. It doesn't mean that at all. It is actually very helpful to a dominant. So keep that in mind. So, your kink space. Do you have little rituals? How do you get into your kink space? What are things that pull you out of kink space? What things can pull you back into kink space? What is the environment that you have that is most conducive to getting into your kink space? Okay, that is leading up into the weekend. I hope you have a kinky weekend, and it looks like it'll be cold and wet this weekend, so I might snuggle up with some rubber and a fluffy blanket because that's awesome. I'll burrow into the bed or something. Have a good cooking session. Also, this weekend at South Bank, French regional festival things going on, so lots of French food, wine, cheese, of course. Have fun. Love you guys.